What up, what up, what up, New York John Nation, and welcome back to another edition of After Further Review, the Week 4 edition. Yeah, I harped on a lot of the bad, negative things last night. Me and the guys on the panel, from this game, which it was a lot to talk about as far as all the negative and bad things from this football game last night against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not going to waste another ounce of breath on this offensive line because they're not worth my energy anymore. What I saw last night was so disgraceful of a performance that they're not worth my energy. That's a group without pride. That's a group that lacks passion. That's a group that lacks the will to win. And they're going to be bad all season long. And we're just going to have to, weather the storm by any means necessary. But I expect absolutely nothing from this offensive line going forward the rest of the way, and that includes when we get Andrew Thomas back out there. Sure, I'm sure he'll handle his business, but what are the other guys going to do? What are the other guys going to do? They've proven that they will do absolutely nothing. They stink. So I'm not wasting my breath on any more of those guys. Quarterback Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, man. Look, I'm giving you every chance I could, kid. Every opportunity. I've defended you tooth and nail. And I'm not totally like against what I think that the ability I believe that you have. I just know that your time's up here in New York. It's not going to happen here. I think you need to look yourself in the mirror, young man, do some serious soul searching, and think about it. If you really want to have any chance at a decent NFL career, you got to understand that it's not going to happen here in this city. It's not. It's not going to happen here in New York, buddy. That ship has sailed. Last night has absolutely cemented that for me. I'm not. I'm still not going to be your biggest hater by any means. You're still the quarterback of the New York Giants until no further notice. But at the end of the day, I just can't. I cannot defend what I saw last night. That pick six is still haunting me right now, man. There's no reason for you to make that pass, man, and make that play. That's just no reason for that, man. That's unacceptable. Look, that was one of the few times the O line actually protection did hold up good enough for you to actually look and scan the field. You had open guys in the end zone, bro, but you chose to try to force something that wasn't there, and the result was absolutely horrible. I can't anymore with those kind of boneheaded mistakes, man. I can't defend that. Can't get behind that. Look, I think you just really need to reevaluate things and understand that it's not going to happen here for you, man. This ain't the city that it's going to happen. And if you, I mean, maybe look at like Geno Smith's path and how long it took for this guy to become a competent NFL starting quarterback. Took some years, man. I'm not saying that's ideal. You might not want to wait that long, but at the end of the day, it's paying dividends for him now. I mean, as far as I'll try to touch on a couple of positives. This is going to be a relatively short one today, guys. I just don't have the energy, man, to just waste on this team right now. But couple positives, man. We finally had a Kayvon Thibodeau appearance, man. I mean, 2 sacks. He had a couple other pressures. He was a little disruptive out there last night. So finally we had a Kayvon Thibodeau sighting. Finally, see if that can remain consistent. Pass rush was not overall not what it needed to be, considering they were going up against a patchwork offensive line in the Seattle Seahawks. But like I just said, pride, the will to want to win your matchups, man. That's what Seattle had. That's what the New York Giants didn't have. Another big positive, I think we didn't really touch on this on the aftermath last night. Unfortunately, it kind of went over our heads, I guess. Definitely went over my head. I can't speak for anybody else. Wandale Robinson, man. I think this kid does have legitimate big playability in him, man. Legitimate big playability. He was one. He was probably the only positive spark I could really say about on this offense last night. He was really out there giving it everything he had, and overall he played a really solid game. He was about the only receiver you were able to count on last night. So sorry we didn't bring it up on the aftermath last night, but Wandale Robinson, that was one of the positives of the game last night. It's good to have this young man back in the lineup, and starting to look like I'm starting to get a feel, understand for why he was a second round draft pick a season ago. And unfortunately we didn't get to see him spread his wings last year because due to the unfortunate injury. But it looks like we got a player in Wandale Robinson. Something there's a legitimate piece that we can build upon and build around, continue to build around. But that's about it. There was pretty much nothing else positive I could take away from this football game last night. Um, one thing I yeah, one thing else I wanted to say, man, like this thing, it has to get rebuilt. This is broken. It's all the way broken. It's rotten all the way to the core. And the only way you can do this the right way is to start from the foundation and rebuild it all the way back up, man. And if that's going to mean 2, 3 more years of, you know, pretty bad football in New York, then that's what it's going to have to mean. That's just what it is at this point. You got to cut your losses, man. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. And right now, we got some bad cards. We got some really bad cards. We have been dealt a terrible hand. And I also agree with my panel on the aftermath last night. I'm not just don't get too drastic. I'm not saying run Dable out of town, run Shane out of town, because that's definitely not a recipe for success. A revolving door of head coaches and GMs and whatnot. But let these guys tear this thing down and let these guys rebuild from the bottom on up. Everybody is expendable at this point, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what the name on the back of your jersey says, you are expendable. This thing has to get redone the right way because right now we've done everything the wrong way. 2022 season is looking so much like smoke and mirrors now, man. So much like smoke and mirrors because you think you get better on the off season. On paper, we look like we're a better team on paper. Clearly not. Clearly not, man. It's not about the schedule, in my opinion. It's not about the schedule. Had tough teams last year on the schedule, and we went out there and competed against those tough teams. We didn't go out there and play 17 bums last season. But there's a disconnect this season, man. And a message needs to be sent. And a little disappointing to see that Brian Dable pretty much already said last night without even, you don't want to sleep on it, bro, without even sleeping on it, like that we're not making any changes. None. You don't think anything needs to happen? Something needs to happen. Special teams is terrible. Offensive line, there's not even a word in the English language to describe the offensive line from last night. That's how bad that performance was. It's just not. They're just it's at an all-time low, historically bad. The worst thing I've ever seen in all my years of watching football is the New York Giants offensive line from last night. And to be quite frank, this whole damn season. I mean, you have dedicated fans. This is a loyal fan base for the New York Football Giants. They've had two home games, and they watched this team surrender 18 sacks. They watched this team only score 3 points in two home games. Outscored 64-3 in your two home games this season thus far. Fans come out their pockets, they pay all that money to go see their favorite team, and that's what they're getting. That's the product they're getting. Come on, man. Do something for your fans, New York Giants, because right now they deserve it. They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. They're out there spending their hard-earned money to see you guys look like that. Meanwhile, you guys are cashing big 6, 7 figure paychecks. Make that make sense. You guys aren't. You the guys are the ones not doing your job. You're flat out not doing your job, but you're still cashing them checks, right? Only in the world of sports, I suppose, can guys get away with not doing their job and still cash those big ass paychecks, man. That's the sports world for you. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up. This one made me a little depressed. This team has no heart, has no fight, and to be quite frank, you look down the rest of the schedule, I'm not sure where the win's coming from. You can look on there and try to point at some teams and say, oh, we're going to win that game. I'm sorry. Every team that's on our schedule, remaining on our schedule, thus far this season has played better football than us. There's 2 0-4 teams in the league, the Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears. I'm not sure that we're even better than them. I'm not even sure if we're better than them. That's me being as candid as I can be and keeping it as real as I can keep it right now. Because I owe that to my audience, to keep it all the way real. This is terrible. This is a terrible, terrible team. And in my opinion, it's the worst team in the league. That's the way I feel about it. That's what that left me, the taste in my mouth at that game left me last night. That this is the worst team in the league. I'm sorry. I don't see a team on this schedule that we're going to beat. You can say what you want about the Raiders, the Washington Commanders, the New England Patriots. These are some of the teams that people would kind of think we would have a chance against, right? 50-50 type of games, I suppose you would call them. I don't call them that. You can say what you want about the Raiders. They're playing better football than us, a little more inspired football than us. The New England Patriots definitely are. I don't think we could beat the Patriots right now. Kidding me? And the Washington Commanders, we couldn't block the Seahawks front. How are we going to block the Washington Commanders front seven? I don't care about how well we traditionally play against that team. Right now, that team will kick our ass. And we'll find out in a few weeks, I suppose. The Jets, yeah, offensively, they're challenged offensively like we are. But their defense damn sure ain't challenged. And that's going to be a long day. But this offensive line out there trying to block those guys up. So, leave in the drop a comment, man. Hit that like. Definitely subscribe, man. And definitely jump in them comments and let me know, man. Where is the next New York Giant win coming from? I'm curious. I'd love to hear y'all opinions on that, actually. Where is the next New York Giant win coming from? Because please don't tell me Miami or Buffalo in the next couple of weeks. Because it ain't. I'm going to let y'all know something. It ain't coming from either one of those 2 games. That's not happening. So, 1-5 is definitely in our very, very near future. Okay? Just keeping it real with y'all. 1-5 is definitely in our near future. But once again, man, definitely go out there, support breast cancer awareness all month long, man. Do what you can. No donation is too small. Just do what you can. Support the worthy cause, man. Breast cancer is taking the lives of many, many great people in this world, man. And a lot of people suffering. So just donate. Try to to the cause. Try to find a cure for this very deadly disease. Support the movement, man. Support breast cancer awareness. Get them ribbons up there, man. Them ribbons out there, them pink ribbons out there. And this y'all boy Mac the Giants fan, man. Peace. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants Fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants Fan. That's MACDA Giants Fan.